All right, today we're going to talk about people who have sex with their ex. You people have lost your way. Wait a minute. No. They can't live with each other. They get divorced. She goes back to the kid, and Tammy has a runny nose or something, or he comes over, bang. Everything about the marriage was lousy except in bed. There's several women in the audience going like this. Tell them, Kyle. I'm not lying, am I?
No, you're not.
You should know, too, that you're not alone. Apparently, this goes on all the time.
That's true. And there's probably a lot of people here that are doing it right now.
You know them. It's sex can mean death today. It's scary. You don't just go home from the bar with anybody. He's familiar.
It's a comfort zone. It's a comfort zone, essentially. You're 41, your ex is 31. Yes.
Well, we're getting to know a little more about you. Already a question.
Is it better because you're not living with each other to drive each other crazy, maybe?
Yeah, you could say that, because there are a lot of times when we were living together, he would like to get involved in major discussions and then get very arrogant. But now that he's in his own place, I can basically handle myself and see him when I want to. And I go to his place. He doesn't come to mine.
Yeah. He's a really good-looking guy, too. Oh. And, you guys have sort of,
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Nothing boring about you two.
There's nothing boring about him. He's everything, except there's a certain maturity level there that I should have watched for in the beginning, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And maturity is a big part, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. You have a 17-year-old?
Yes.
And she lives with you?
Yes.
So you make it mostly with him at his place?
Most definitely.
Because of the noise and all the screaming?
Oh, the screaming. And, and he's got the trapeze in his place.
Right. So. And knocking over that furniture and all that. He actually has an air mattress, right?
Yes.
On the floor?
On the floor.
Yeah. That way you don't hurt yourself. No place to fall. This is not a gag, is it? This is true.
No, I'm serious about it. I mean, let's say the air mattress is not there. I mean, no, there is no air mattress. Oh, there used to be an air mattress before he got his bedroom furniture. Uh-huh. Now he puts it underneath the bed.
How often do you see him,
Pulls
Kyle?
It out when necessary.
How often do you see him?
Whenever the mood strikes, I guess. Once a week, twice a week, depending.
Yeah. You still love him, Kyle? Tell
well,
the people.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. There are certain parts that you have to miss, too.
What? What?
How long were you married?
A year. We were married on July 13th, which is a Friday.
July 13th, a Friday?
Yes.
Well,
that was right away off the bat.
Now we know what's wrong. What's the matter?
Is this purely sex, or do you go out to dinner with him, or is this
we go out to movies and that too, but there is no reason why, we shouldn't. It's fun. I enjoy his company, but like I said, there's a certain maturity factor there that can't be explained away. So I just decided to do it like this.
It's just not a picnic when you're together all the time.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
You don't think sex was the major problem in the marriage? I mean, like if you have arguments or something, you just wind up in bed instead of solving it,
Oh, no. No, of course you never go to bed mad anyway, but, you can always
not with an air
mattress
on your bed.
No. Are you there, caller? Hi.
Hi. I've never been married. I've been with somebody for 5 years. Out of the 5 years, 4 of the years we've hated each other's guts, but the sex has been great, and it's too dangerous to go out and fool around with others. So we see each other every week or two, and we love each other for a good 45 minutes, an hour, and then we hate each other again for the next 2 weeks.
At his place or yours?
Either.
Either one.
Either one. We don't get along at all except for in bed.
Yeah. Can he see another woman?
I'd rather he didn't. I'm sure he has.
A little murmur goes through our doubtful audience here. Selfish? What do you mean, selfish, she's saying? Help me out here. Hold on, I got wisdom here.
Why should he be alone just with her if they're not living together?
And this is selfish, and this is the kind of
On
thing?
her part, it's selfish.
It might be.
Yeah, you're saying no? Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely not selfish. There's a perfection in each relationship. We're always co-participants.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Uh-huh. That'll teach you to stand up on the Donahue Show. All right, Pam, here we go. Me and you, we can do this. Pam, a free tag, is divorced, was divorced after 7 years of marriage, but you still see him.
Just spent Christmas with him.
You were with, over the holidays you were with him.
You bet.
You say you bet. Pam, you know, there are times, you know, at night, I mean, we've all got our feelings, right? Nothing wrong with this. You give him a call, drive 30 miles to see him.
Otherwise, sometimes he'd call me. I wouldn't always initiate the call.
But you cannot live with the man.
No, definitely not.
Any jealousy there? Your husband has seen another woman since the divorce.
Correct. And I was very jealous about that.
Yeah. So this is, you're a human being. You're not saying this is some sort of isolated little hermetically sealed activity, that you bring your baggage and your feelings, huh? To the
I sure do. And I have to walk away from it too. But I was very jealous when he had another woman. Only because when we had sex together, it was great. It was very great. And knowing that he's having it with another person really bothered me. Yeah. And it still does.
Yeah. If he was lousy, it wouldn't bother you so much.
Oh, it's great. I don't want to let go.
Do you plan to move on with your life and date other people, or how are you doing that?
We've been divorced for almost 3 years, and I have really not had any relationships other than with him. And I know someday I will have to look at reality and move on.
It was your first marriage, his second. Is that right, Pam?
No, it was both of our first marriages.
I just want to ask the woman in blue, do you think that it's because, like, you're not strong enough to stand up on your own? I'm not saying that you're weak, but don't you think that it's time to make a fresh start and just say, fine, he's got his life, now it's my turn. I have my life.
There are other people that I see. And it's not fair to make comparisons, so I won't.
Why can't you just cut that off? Don't you think that that's more harmful to you emotionally?
No, because it doesn't make that much of a difference. I mean, it's strictly a physical thing. I love him to an extent. I love my first husband a little bit too, but not seriously.
But don't you feel that that's empty? I don't see how you can stay with someone and not have more than. Are you
comparing it to like a one-night stand? Because it's not like that. I mean, there are people here that would probably have one-night stands too.
No, I don't think that's your point.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're not married. Like, you're not married to him. You're just seeing him like on and off. That's cute, but don't you think that?
Yeah, she's not making a moral judgment here. She just wonders about your future. How am I doing?
You're doing very well. Thank you.
There is nothing to worry about because, like I say, we both see other people, and I have no problems as far as jealousy goes with him seeing other people, or myself with him with his jealousy with me. It's a natural fact of life, but there is something there in a sexual relationship with this man that may not be obtainable with another person until you get out there and try it, and you can't do that nowadays.
Try.
Oh.
Well, you can't. You know, you got to be selective.
Are you there, caller?
Yes, I am.
What do you think?
I'd like to know whether this is straight animalistic, lustful behavior. You can't keep your hands off each other once you see each other.
I hope so.
Or whether there's an emotional content to this sex. And if there is an emotional content, what is it? There's more to marriage than just sex, obviously.
Right. Now, you understand these marriages are over.
Right.
Okay. Not a bad question now. Let's talk about that. I mean, is there any kind of from the heart feeling?
There is. You want to go first?
I would say that there would be a feeling with it, but I know earlier I was going to make a comment that nowadays with all these new diseases and everything out there, it's safe. I don't have to. I've been with them.
Well, also,
I know he's never really been with anybody.
Right, and also professional people are busy with their lives
and raising kids and keeping a house and running all the time, that it's hard to meet people in a busy life.
You are Denise Monroe. You are here with, of all people, your ex-husband. Well, wait a minute. Okay. Everything gets a hand on this program. And you were together over the holidays as well, weren't you?
Yes.
We've been living together full-time since Labor Day.
Okay, and how long were you divorced before you moved back in?
A year.
So this is going to be another one of those reconciliations.
Well, we did this even when we were married. We had separations sometimes for 6 or 8 months, where, maybe 3 or 4 months, where we didn't see each other at all. And then we would kind of calm down what the problems were and then live back together again.
Yeah. You don't see marriage, however, in your future?
We didn't agree on a lot of the marriage issues as far as money, raising children, and work schedules.
Yeah. I got the book on you, Al. First of all, you're a workaholic, 2 jobs, and you go out and you buy, you know, boom, you roll in the driveway with a brand new van. The bank knew about this van before your wife did. She thinks you should save like a squirrel, and then when you get it, that's when you buy the van. Now, nobody's accusing you of being irresponsible here because you do work for a living, so it's not like you're not making your payments, but, you know, you're either working or sleeping, Al. So you're dismissed. We got you figured out. We don't need you here. Actually, money was a major...
Money is a major issue. And
work and money was a big issue for us. We always had good sex together. Our romantic life was great. It's just when we liked each other, when we weren't mad about either the work or the money schedules.
Yeah. Tell them what you got your ex-husband for Christmas.
I got him an outfit and a flashlight.
And a subscription. And a subscription.
Oh, I got a subscription to Playboy magazine.
Yeah. Are you there, caller?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, Phil, I have a lot of problems, but...
Well, you came to the right place. You don't know problems. Wait till you meet this audience.
I'm married now. I was married before to a girl. She called me up for New Year's Eve. And I made a trip to New York with my ex-wife. And my current wife is at home. Hopefully she's not watching this show either.
Yeah. And you're calling it because you feel guilty.
I do feel guilty, but the sex is incredible with my ex-wife. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
And I made this trip.
You mean you weren't even home on Christmas?
I was home on Christmas, not New Year's Eve, though. I told my wife I was on business. I couldn't.
That's what my first husband used to say.
Say again?
That's what my first husband used to say. I'm on business. You know, I'm gone. And we were married for 12 years and 3 years together before that.
Have any of you had children with your former husbands? And if so, how do they feel about this?
My daughter is 17, and she has no qualms about it at all. I mean, as long as I don't bring him home to the house and, you know, do things under her nose, I have a lot of respect for her, so I won't do that. And that's the way it should be. I can't see having...
Yeah.
You know, relationships in front of your children.
Right. Marianne Bartusis will join us in a moment. MD, psychiatrist who specializes in marital therapy. And, well, I wonder what she thinks of this, which apparently is a ongoing behavior on the part of some people. Nobody in this audience, but some people. And we'll be back to explore this further. Sex with your ex in just a moment. I'm glad you waited. Go ahead.
I want to know, why is that lady still having sex with her husband? If you're attracted to somebody, you should stay married to them. If they feel that much attraction, if they can't keep away from them sexually.
Everything else, though, about the marriage is just so you know,
they're so screwed up, it makes me sick.
Well, we don't want... Why does it make you sick? It doesn't have anything to do with you.
Because they're ridiculous. If they want to be attracted sexually, obviously they can't stay away from each other, which is why they have sex. That lady in the blonde hair, what's her name? She has sex with her ex-husband 2 or 3 times a week? Give me a break.
Give me...
Stay married to the man.
Give you a break?
You should stay married to him.
Give you a break and what?
You should stay married to him.
It sounds a little bit of jealousy there.
Oh, my God, I doubt it.
Are you getting as much?
I doubt it. Probably more than you, and better, I'm sure.
You're not better than Kyle's husband, boy. This whole audience knows that. But you do sound kind of judgmental, and, you know, I have a personal anger here. I'm not sure I understand. You know, we do have, I think, they have no reason to lie to us. These women are saying that, yes, it was a wonderful experience. The intimacy of the marriage, fine. But, you know, all day long with this.
Me and my ex-husband don't get along at all during the day, but at night we get along great.
When the lights are out, everything's fine.
You bet, yeah.
Are you there, caller? Hi.
Yes, I am. Hi.
What do you think?
I'd like to say I'm in the same situation. As a matter of fact, my ex-husband called me and left a message for me to watch the show. And I'd like to say that I would give up the great sex just to meet someone that I could have a nice relationship with and build, and okay sex would be fine with me.
So you'd rather have a happy 24-hour relationship and so-so sex.
That's right.
Than great sex and a so-so 24-hour relationship.
That's right.
Very true.
And, you know, you don't have to tell anybody the difference between good sex and bad sex.
Now, what would you know about this?
Okay, Phil. Since being happily divorced 3 years, I think it's great.
To be divorced?
Yes, number one. But to have sex with your ex-spouse, it's even better.
It is.
I haven't been through it yet. I'm about to go through it any day now. Okay? But I don't know if we have any nymphomaniacs here, but it's great.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You've contributed so much to our program. Yeah.
Well, I think that this is really shallow because there's a lot, it seems to me that you want to have the good parts of the relationships. You want to have the physical sex and make yourself feel good, and who knows you better than your ex? So it's positive reinforcement, and yet you're not willing to make a commitment and work out the difficult situations.
We could never...
I mean, you're just using the animalistic nature of humans and acting out the physical acts without having any meaning behind it.
There are extenuating circumstances here, too, that maybe not every one of us can discuss. I personally can't discuss it, but there is a situation that is very difficult to bring out in public. And that has nothing to do with the sexual aspect of it. The sex is good, but the other part of it that really is prohibitive to speak about, if you were able to understand, I'd be able to tell you, but I can't bring it up. So there are points there where the maturity level comes in, you just can't talk about.
Besides the great sex, does the AIDS scare have anything to do with it?
Yes,
do you feel
it would be scary.
Yeah. All right, Marianne, here we go. Dr. Bartusis, please. What's going on here?
I think what's going on, I think the audience has already picked it up. And it's the fact that a relationship, a true love relationship, really includes an emotional and a sexual relationship. Right. And every one of us try to work toward that balance. None of us ever reach it 100%. We either have a little better sex life, a little better emotional life. We keep working on it, but that's the work of marriage. If sex is great, then you have to work on the emotional aspect of the relationship. And where the emotional immaturity of Kyle's husband probably was what interfered with that relationship. And really, you're really in love with the part of that man. You're in love with the sexual part of that man. And we can't be judgmental. They can't help it if they're turned on to the sex that they have with their ex-spouses. And So we can't be judgmental.
And if they remarried, it'd probably go down the hill again?
If they don't work out the emotional aspect of their relationship and grow emotionally.
Yeah.
And the older you get, and there's a number of older people in this audience, the older you get, you've got to work on the emotional side of your relationship because sex does change. And it does get different as you get older.
Not if you have it with your ex, apparently.
Well, but you know, that's probably one of the exciting things about sex with your ex, because no affair can compare to your marital sex. You have to have something in your marriage that transcends that, that overcomes that. But some couples, some people try to have both, and then they get in some difficulty. But one thing, if they now should develop a relationship emotionally or try to develop, they could use, this is a real trick, they could use the fantasies of their relationships with these men and try to incorporate that and develop that with their new partner when they're working on the emotional relationship. It can work.
Wow.
It takes a lot of work.
You know, I have a picture of the guy saying to the girl at the single bar, "Do you find me attractive?" And she says, "No, but I have a good fantasy. Let's go to your place."
Yeah. That may work.
Yeah.
And if it works, what's the difference? So long as they're enjoying themselves and they can bring out the sexual relationship part of it.
Are you there, caller? Hi.
Yes. I'm wondering, you know, I'm talking about the lady with the long hair.
Yeah.
She says she's so jealous. Has she ever been in a situation when she's calling up her ex-husband and there happened to be another woman there? You know, what would she do then?
She acknowledges jealousy, but go ahead.
I've never had a time when I've called him and there'd been someone else there. Never. Well, actually, our situation, he lives with some friends of ours. So I know what happened. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that vindictively or anything, but I know that
You got a pretty good eyeball on him then, you're saying. You know what he's, you know, it's not likely he could cheat and get away with it.
No, and we have a son, you know, together, so we have a, you know, a common interest here, and I'm always over there, or he's always with me.
Right.
And, you know, there is, on his part, he does have a physical attraction towards me and a sexual one, but yet we cannot get along. I mean, we're totally different, opposite people.
Children do make a
difference. They do make a difference because they bring the mother and father together.
That's
and that's
right.
why...
And that's where the trouble begins.
The present partner gets upset because she envisions him taking out the children and then getting together with the ex-wife.
Oh.
Are you there, caller?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Phil.
Yeah.
I've been married 3 times, and right now I'm on my 3rd wife. And I seem to find myself that I'm in bed with my first 2 wives for the most part of the time, and I really love my wife now, and I really don't know what to do about it.
You're thinking about your first wife while you're going to bed with your 3rd wife.
No. I'm sleeping with my first and second wife, and I really love my wife that I'm married to now, the 3rd one.
He's sleeping with his first and his second wife?
Yeah, but not the 3rd one. And I really love my 3rd wife, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 38.
You're third?
No, sorry, 28.
You're 28, yeah. You know, that's what happens. Too much sex and the mind starts to go. You can't remember. I'm telling you. Well, so you're not sexually attractive to the woman you're married to now?
Yeah, that's basically it, yeah.
Well, why did you marry her?
Why did you marry her?
Well, I do find her sexually attractive. It's just that I find myself in bed with my first 2 wives more.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago that I was married to those 2.
I see. Well, we have lots of advice from you out here in the audience today, and we'll give them all a chance to make their own contribution to our program. You know, you gotta, you know, you're not being fair to your wife, you know.
I know.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
To be part of the audience, please send a postcard to Donahue Tickets, care of NBC, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, New York, New York, 10112. Remember, postcards only, please.
Okay, my question is, do you use any kind of protection?
Yeah.
Either partner?
Yes. Well, he uses it.
Protection, yes.
Yes, the other.
What? I mean, you want? I mean, how much are we obliged to tell you
Other
here?
things, just like everybody else.
The woman on the end. I understand you're seeing another person besides your ex, right?
And he's got all the qualities and everything that I've been looking for, but
but
I'm just trying to get him to realize that.
Does each of the other partners know about the exes seeing each other and so on, and they accept this?
Yeah.
They're divorced.
Yeah. I mean, it's human nature.
So how are you going to develop this relationship you have with this other person if you're still having sex with your ex?
Because the relationship I have with him has not yet gotten that far.
You're not going to marry him. Now, tell the people. You know that.
Oh, I wish.
You're not going to marry the guy you're seeing, not your ex-husband.
No. At least not yet.
And you don't think you'll marry your ex again?
No. No.
I know you have a 17-year-old daughter, and how old is your son?
4.
Do you think at 4 years old, I mean, is your son getting any false hopes that mommy and daddy are going to get back together? I mean, do you think it's very fair to him, what you're doing?
We talk about it. We live separately, and he knows that mommy lives here and dad lives here, and we talk about that we are such great friends, and I'm glad that any divorced couple, I went through a divorce, or my parents did, and I grew up with it, that it's very bitter, your parents being divorced. And I'm glad that we can have a relationship that is, we are better friends now than we ever have been. And I'm glad that my son sees that.
Yeah.
This is for the whole panel. How do all of you feel about remarriage to new partners?
Yeah. Let's talk with the Moreaus about that. You're right here. Al? You must have known they were going to ask you this.
Sooner or later. I figured you'd get to me.
Yeah. Incidentally, you know, you're talking too much, Al. We may have to... Let me just reset it here. Denise and Al Monroe, after 3.5 years of marriage, they divorced a year ago, but they've never really stopped having sex with each other following that divorce. In fact, as Denise has shared with us, she spends most of her time now at Al's place. Yes, they did spend the holidays together. You know that they have money problems, so that doesn't make them unique. That's apparently a common source of discord in most marriages. So you're not, you know, you must think maybe you could make this happen again.
Well, Phil, number one, I don't know how I got on the show for the problem I've got.
Yeah, this is not what your mother hoped and dreamed for you, to be on the Donahue show, yeah.
I dearly love my former wife, and we try to work out a relationship. We got divorced after a number of breakups, in which we were apart for 3 to 4 months at a time.
Right.
And I felt at that time, perhaps to get my financial things in order, I needed to know where I was. Yeah. And it's helped defuse the situation, and we are slowly, I think, building a relationship where we can't use those material things against each other in fights or anything else. You know, there's...
Yeah. You were concerned about, among other things, that your children, in the event of your death, get most of your, get their entitlement to your estate, huh?
Right. Well, their mother is dead, and I'm the only...
Right. Well, this is not, you know, Miss Money Grubber here.
No, she isn't. She's a very good person, and...
It was a very friendly divorce. We went.
You drove each other, didn't you? Both went, didn't you?
We went together. We sat there. We held hands. It was a legal thing. We just needed to. It was just to separate our affairs. That was a big contention that we couldn't manage.
There's a lot of guys like him, you know, women too, but. You know, where's the money? It isn't that he's squeezing the nickel. It's sort of like an insecurity about, you know.
He felt insecure about it. He was working all these jobs, so I thought he wanted to at least think that if something happened to him, his kids would be, be taken care of.
Yeah.
But there must have been more of an emotional connection between you than a sexual one, because as I understand it, you were working or had money problems, so you were really never around. So I don't know, it may be different than the two ladies.
They're different.
If you can't, just my feeling, a sexual relationship is the only thing you enjoy with each other, that is not much of a relationship. It's very empty.
I'll give you a chance here. Well, you like that. You like that. Right.
Well,
Lord, we don't want this audience to think that all they care about is sex. I mean, there's more to life than sex. Wake that guy up and tell him that. And we'll be back in just a moment.
I wonder if any of these people should have gotten married in the first place. And one thing that would help us kind of to figure out, how long after they were divorced did they have the sex? Meaning, did they have sex through the divorce proceedings, or did you wait a certain time and realize that you missed it? What, you know, maybe you should have gotten married in the first place.
Yeah, maybe not.
Good question. I often wonder that myself. Should I have done it or not? We did get married, and I have no remorse about that. But after we got married, it seems like once you sign that little piece of paper, like a lot of people feel, something happens, and you're not the same.
How about the
two people
gentleman?
as
I'd like to hear
before.
from the gentleman. How about that?
How long were you married, Al? Or how long were you divorced before?
For what? Well, we were always doing it. I mean,
so right through it, yeah.
Well, good. The audience is pleased to know that. Dr. Bartusis, you wanted to say, having heard the commentary, very thoughtful and honest, in my opinion, of Al Monroe.
Yes, I was wondering whether his workaholism wasn't a way to avoid an emotional relationship. And because work and fighting over money and fighting over kids often is a way to avoid getting emotionally involved, believe it or not. But the other thing I asked them during the break was whether they had any counseling, because they keep going in and out of their marriage, and you said...
Well, we have tried counseling, but like they say, it always gets worse before it gets better. And when the counseling would get where we were really having a lot of disagreements and it was just come to a head, we would just bail out.
Well, see, that's what she would do. Then she would go like she does now. She goes to her apartment instead of really facing it and working through, in a therapy situation, working through that rough time. Instead, you leave the therapy, you leave and go to your apartment. So,
well, both of us do it. He quits the therapy as much as I do. We're both like, oh, we've talked about this a million times.
Well, they're avoiding really the emotional connection, and that's where they're having their trouble.
Are you there, caller? Hi.
Yes, I'm there.
Go ahead.
I'm 17, and my boyfriend's 16. We broke up about 6 months ago. We haven't spoken the whole time we broke up. We never spoke, and now we got back together Christmas Day, and he wants to have sex.
You didn't have sex with him before?
Nope.
Are you a virgin?
Yes.
Stay that way.
Why, the audience just plain does not want you to have sex with him.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah. Well, I'm just really confused.
Yeah. We're all confused. You know, why would you want to have sex for the first time with a guy that broke up with you 4 days ago?
I don't know.
Yeah. You know, do you have a Nintendo game? Is there anything you can... No, I would not go to bed with this guy. First of all, you may, you know, how do you if you're not protected, I don't have to give you the big speech, do I?
Right, but she's also getting into a bad habit. That she's just going to go and get him into the habit. If he doesn't want her emotionally, he can have her sexually. Yeah. So she's already starting at that young age to set up a pattern that just may not be healthy for her.
Yeah. For the panel, is there any romance left in these escapades, or is it just sex?
There's romance.
There is romance.
Yeah, there's flowers and there's little gifts and that. Yeah.
But when you're married,
do you have friends, ladies on the end, who you talk to about this? I mean, do people know that you're doing this? Your friends and your parents, or?
I have no family. I mean, no sisters or brothers, but I do have friends that are familiar with it.
Are they comfortable with it? I mean, they don't.
What I do is my business. I mean, and they're friends, so they wouldn't make judgments on what I do as I would not do to them.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
To be part of the audience, please send a postcard to Donahue Tickets, care of NBC, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, New York, New York, 10112. Remember, postcards only, please.
I think this is... You'd like to say what? I'd like to say that I think this is a really bad example for young people. They think that, you know, there's no commitment involved in these relationships.
Yogi Berra's wrong. It ain't over when it's over.
No, and people just think that, you know, they can get into a relationship and then end it, and it's no big deal.
Well, I think we have to presume a certain amount of common sense on the part of young people. I don't think they're not here to sell this. They are here to speak honestly about a circumstance which apparently happens a lot. You get rid of the guy, and then you start thinking about him, and you know.
But what happened to working through these problems? I mean, people used to stay together forever, and I know that it's not like that anymore, but these people, I think they should try. It's a bad example for the 17-year-old. She's going to think that it's all right to get... Well, if you haven't been in the position,
then really you don't know what it's like to experience something like this.
But you should be able to work through it. Try and work through it.
Have you ever gone back and thought about your old boyfriends or maybe your old girlfriends in the past and said, God, I got so much out of that relationship sexually, but nothing else?
But you made a commitment in the first place. If you got married, you made a commitment in the first place.
But it's a two-way street. The other half is not here to defend, the same thing.
I'm not just picking on you guys. I'm saying both
fighting.
Sides should try and work through it. It's a
But
poor
we're already
example for
divorced
young
now.
people.
I mean, we're already divorced,
but-
so our issue today is we still have sex with our ex.
Are you there?
Yes.
What do you think?
I date somebody who was having sex with his ex-wife.
Oh.
Somebody who's having... You are?
No, I'm not. He was.
Uh-huh. And so what do you want to do about it?
I don't want to do anything about it. He stopped doing it.
Yeah.
I found out because he told me about it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted them to know two things. That number one, it doesn't feel very good because you can't help but wonder what are his feelings towards his ex-wife. And number two, if you don't care about him, let go of him and start a new life for him and for yourself.
Yeah.
I just, going back to your comment, the girl over here, I don't always agree that people should not always have to work things out. Sometimes it's not possible. On the other hand, I don't think that it's right if, for you, I don't know, I'm getting the idea that there's something that you're not telling us, such as maybe, your husband now doesn't realize, or your boyfriend now doesn't realize what's going on.
I don't have a boyfriend now. I mean, I have a friendship, but it's not a sexual friendship.
Mm-hmm.
See?
I think what we have...
You wish they'd either fix the marriage or stop this.
Yeah, sort of. It's just like, I mean, if you can't fix it, fine. Don't fix it, break up. And then, and if you want to have sex and you're both consensual to it, that's fine. But if not, I mean, it's not fair to the children. It's not fair to each other.
Hang on, we're getting lots of judgments.
Now, what would happen if your ex-husband's now remarried? Both of you say there's no emotional commitment.
Right.
But what happens if they get married now? Would you still continue on?
You'd feel bad, wouldn't you?
Not at all.
You'd feel bad.
I would feel a certain amount of remorse because I've lost him, but as far as anything else goes, it's his life as mine is mine.
Would you say that as well, Pam?
No.
You'd be miserable.
I would be miserable.
Don't you think we're really putting too much emphasis on sexually transmitted diseases and really not enough emphasis on commitment? I think that's where our problem is right now, is that we keep on using the sexually transmitted disease as an excuse.
We already tried the commitment and it didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like she was cavalier about it. Hi, thanks for waiting. Are you there?
Yes.
What do you think? Go ahead.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Hey,
I just wanted to speak to the two ladies on the end. I was in an 8-year relationship, and when we broke up, I wasn't married, but when we broke up, we spent 3 years being friends, ending up in bed, realizing that it wasn't right, and I finally started realizing that the only thing we're together for is the sex. And I had more pride in myself than having to be part of a couple or just going to this man for sex. So, I realized it was okay to be alone, and even though the sex was great, 3 years later, I did meet some other man. We've been married for 4 years, and you know what? The sex is even better.
Hello, I was going to ask a question there for Al on that kind of theme, actually. Al, have you had sex with anybody else apart from your wife? And if you haven't, is that possibly why you're planning to stick with her?
I don't look around, and I'm not interested right now. And
Is she the first person you've had sex with, maybe, and that's why you want to stick with her?
Where am I? Are you from the Communist Party, or what is this?
Well, I'm a second wife, so I wasn't the first.
Yeah, he was married before. Yeah.
Pam, is the only person you see your ex-husband? Is that?
At this time, yes, it is.
Get on with your life.
Well,
First of all, one of the callers that called a little while ago, I think that these ladies will probably at some point become tired of the relationship.
As the caller did, yeah.
Right, and will outgrow it or something like that.
But now, if,
Right. I don't want to be judgmental about it. I think you'll grow tired of it, and I think it's just a process. But for me, I know that there's someone in my life that I'm attracted to who is still involved with their ex-wife. They were married and divorced. And I won't even take a risk with this man and get involved because he spends a lot of time with his ex-wife and vacations with her and whatnot.
And it's a sign that you're kind of doomed here. The odds are against any kind of relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there could be people in your lives that might be interested but wouldn't take a chance with you. And so it's like you need to cut off those relationships so that positive relationships can go on.
I agree with that, but getting back to what this gentleman just, you know, get on with my life, it's great. I love my sex with my ex.
So that gentleman should go to his room.
I don't think anybody can compare.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
I feel that, talking to the two women on the end, that any relationship worth having is worth working for. And if you care so much for these men that you're willing to put a lot of energy into maintaining a sexual relationship, then put forth that same energy into maintaining a wholesome emotional relationship.
Easier to have sex than to live with this guy for a whole day.
Yes, Phil, but it's worth working at, and it will be rewarding in the end. I'm in a marriage, and this is my second marriage, and I am really working hard at making it to last forever. Because marriages are not just like you're going out buying a pair of shoes, you know?
Dr. Bartusis, you want to get in here with some brief words here. You've been listening very patiently.
Two comments. One, I think the ladies do really want to have an emotional relationship also with these men. Right. But they're having difficulty with it. And second, about the children. Let's hope, we have to say what's going to be positive, that they will work maybe harder on the emotional side of their relationship, and they have a good example for the sexual. Now they'll work harder on the emotional, and that would be the positive thing.
Are you there, caller?
Yes, I am.
What do you think?
I don't think there's anything really wrong with what these people are doing. My husband and I were divorced 4 years ago. We got back together about a year and a half ago, and now we have a beautiful 12-month-old little boy. And I think it was the best thing that ever happened to us. Separating, it made us both grow and realize the mistakes we made.
Have you remarried?
To him.
Yeah.
To him. I remarried him. I was having sex with him while we were divorced, and after we got back together, we remarried, and I have a 12-month-old little boy now.
Well, we are happy for you. I don't know whether it's... Who would presume the power to suggest that that would work for these women on the stage?
Oh, I'm not saying that, but I think once you're separated like that or divorced, it makes you think about, you know, the mistakes you made rather than being in the situation and having to think about them.
It makes you also, you know, aware of all the other jerks out there.
True.
And,
True.
you know, so this is the best jerk you can get for...
I'd rather live with my jerk knowing that I'm not going to come out with any disease that's going to kill me.
Right.
And I know what he's got. And I know they're disagreeing with that, you know, as far as socially, but I don't believe that.
We don't want our jerkness level to necessarily, or tolerance, go up, do we?
No.
I mean, you know, otherwise it'll be easier for jerks to get married.
Right.
And they may marry you.
I'll be right there.
Or marry each other, yeah.
I'm happily married now, and I was married before, and my current husband and I just catered my ex-husband and his wife's wedding and made the wedding cake. We have a wonderful relationship with my ex-husband, but I would never think of having sex with him again.
Not even. Not even. Cater his wedding, but no sex. We'll be back in just a moment.
For a transcript of today's program, send $3 check or money order to Donahue Transcripts, 1535 Grand Street, Denver, Colorado, 80203, or call 303-831-9000.
Could your child be born gay? A surprising study links biology with homosexuality. Next, Donahue.
You know somebody's going to go get married or living together, off to a good start. Mary Ann Bartusis, MD, is her contribution to understanding how we can do this. Are you there? Hi, I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, I know I am here.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was married 11 years. I went out and got engaged during that. Since then, I've been divorced, and I still have sex with my ex-wife. As a matter of fact, she comes
Services provided and promotional fees paid by the following.
Introducing Doan's PM. Now, when back pain keeps you up at night, there's back pain relief that helps you sleep. New Doan's PM.
Rug Doctor is steaming mad at dirt.
The only rental machine that lets you clean like a professional, with a full line of products for everyday carpet care.
For the perfect weekend and the perfect frequent stay program, check into the new Drake, the only Swiss hotel on Park Avenue.